Imagine growing up believing you're small, timid, and bound by limitations, only to one day discover a hidden strength and identity that changes everything you thought you knew about yourself. Today's story is a powerful fable about breaking free from the illusions of self-doubt and discovering the untapped potential within. It's a journey of courage, self-discovery, and empowerment, one that just might help you find your own roar. If you're ready to unlock these life-changing insights, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on valuable wisdom designed to inspire, uplift, and guide you to a more fulfilling life. Now let's dive into today's story. In a peaceful valley sheltered by green hills, a herd of sheep wandered and grazed, moving in harmony through each day. But one day, an extraordinary event broke the usual calm. A lioness, wounded and weary, gave birth to a single cub before taking her final breath. The sheep, in their gentle nature, could not abandon the helpless cub, so they raised him as one of their own. Thus began the tale of a lion who grew up among sheep, a story of self-discovery that reflects our own journey toward recognizing our inner strength and potential. As seasons changed and the cub grew, he adapted completely to the sheep's way of life. From the first time he could walk, he toddled after the sheep, watching and mimicking their every move. He learned to nibble on grass, even though it felt strange to him at first. Soon enough, grazing on grass felt like second nature, and he came to believe he was just another sheep. The sheep, in their simplicity, welcomed him without question. Though he was larger, they made space for him, and in their eyes he was no different from them. He walked with their cautious steps, kept their steady pace, and even developed their same instinct to flee at the slightest sign of danger. His roar never developed. Instead, he only knew how to bleat softly in the gentle voice of a sheep. Yet there was an ever-present tension within him, a quiet unease that surfaced in his quietest moments. He was aware of his size and strength, but it only made him feel awkward, as if something was wrong with him. He noticed how much larger he was, and while the other sheep huddled close in times of fear, he often felt like he didn't quite fit. He sensed in a distant way that he was different, but he could never pinpoint why. Unquestioning, he told himself he was a sheep and tried to ignore his doubts. Years passed, and the young lion became a towering presence among the flock. His muscles grew powerful, his movements strong, and his mane began to sprout, but he took no notice. His self-doubt only grew as his body did, and he quietly berated himself for feeling out of place, wondering why he couldn't blend in fully, even as he tried his best to be just another sheep. His heart carried a yearning he didn't understand, a longing for something he couldn't name. But still, he accepted his identity as a sheep, unaware of the potential sleeping within him. One morning, a mighty lion prowling the valley spotted the herd of sheep. Driven by hunger, he approached, his sharp eyes scanning the flock. But as he watched, his attention caught on a strange sight. A young lion stood among the sheep, towering above them but behaving just like them, oblivious to his own nature. The older lion blinked in disbelief. Here was a young lion, strong and majestic, yet he grazed on grass and moved with the fearful hesitance of a sheep. Astonished and curious, the elder lion decided not to strike, but instead to draw closer to the young lion, hoping to awaken him to his true identity. As the wild lion drew near, the herd sensed danger and broke into a panic, rushing to flee. The young lion, seeing his herd's alarm, felt terror rise within him. He followed the herd instinctively, trying to run, to blend in and hide from the terrifying sight of the mighty lion advancing toward them. He bleated in fear, his eyes wide with terror, convinced he was in mortal danger. But the elder lion could see through this confusion, determined to reveal the truth to the young lion. He pursued him with a gentle but unyielding strength. Finally, the elder lion managed to corner the young one, who trembled before him, his heart pounding wildly in his chest. Please, don't hurt me!" he cried in desperation, looking at the elder lion with fear-filled eyes. "I'm just a helpless sheep." The older lion, seeing the young lion's terror, softened his gaze. "You are not a sheep," he replied firmly. "You are a lion as much as I am. It's time you understand who you truly are." The young lion shook his head in disbelief. "No, I am a sheep! I have always been one!" he insisted, confused and frightened. But the older lion wouldn't relent. With a steady grip, he urged the young lion to follow him. Together they walked to the edge of a nearby lake, where the water lay calm and clear, like a natural mirror. Once at the lake's edge, the older lion gently nudged the young lion forward. "Look into the water," he commanded softly. "See what you truly are." Hesitant but curious, the young lion peered into the lake, and for the first time he saw his own reflection. The sight took his breath away. Staring back at him wasn't a sheep, but a lion, a magnificent, powerful creature with strong features and a mane that was beginning to frame his face. He glanced from his reflection to the older lion beside him, realizing with shock that they looked the same. His heart raced with confusion and wonder as he struggled to process this revelation. All his life, he had believed he was a sheep, defined by the limitations of the herd he had grown up with. But here was the undeniable proof of his true identity. The older lion spoke gently. "You have always been a lion, born with strength and courage. You were never meant to live a life of fear or imitation." The young lion blinked, his mind reeling, but a new feeling began to stir, a warmth that rose from deep within, an ancient, instinctive power that was his alone. The older lion urged him to find his voice, to release his roar and feel his true power. At first, the young lion's voice emerged as a hesitant growl, weak and shaky, but with the elder lion's encouragement, he dug deeper and tried again. This time, his voice burst forth in a mighty roar that echoed through the valley. The sound startled him, powerful and resonant, as if he were hearing himself for the first time. The young lion's roar sent a shockwave through the herd of sheep, who scattered in fear, no longer able to recognize him as one of their own. And in that instant, the young lion understood he was not bound by the timid life he had known, nor by the fears of the herd. He felt a surge of clarity, a new sense of self that radiated from within. He was a lion, capable and free, and he had been all along. No longer weighed down by the limitations of a borrowed identity, he stood tall, embracing the strength and courage he had finally discovered within himself. His gaze turned from the familiar valley he had known to the vast wilderness that lay beyond. He knew he was not alone. The older lion had shown him the truth, but now it was his turn to live it. With a newfound sense of purpose, the young lion took his first steps away from the herd toward the wilderness, where he would discover his true potential and live freely, no longer confined by the illusions of his past. This story of the young lion raised among sheep is more than just a fable. It's a powerful metaphor for the journey that each of us faces in life. Often, like the young lion, we grow up in environments that shape our beliefs about who we are. We're influenced by our surroundings, by the people around us, and by the expectations that others place upon us. These influences, though well-intentioned, can sometimes blur our true identity, leaving us with doubts about our potential and a sense that something within us remains unexplored. But this tale reminds us that beneath the layers of conditioning and conformity, each of us carries within a unique power, a purpose, a voice that is distinctly our own. The young lion had to confront his deepest fears and question everything he thought he knew about himself to discover this truth. Similarly, the journey to our true potential begins with a willingness to look inward, to examine our beliefs, and to recognize the strength that has always resided within us. Often, this path requires courage, as it may mean stepping away from familiar roles and breaking free from the expectations of those around us. The young lion's story teaches us that each of us has our own roar, a personal gift, passion, or calling that, when embraced, leads to a life of authenticity and fulfillment. Finding this raw often requires us to be brave enough to step beyond what we've always known, to challenge the limits we or others have set, and to open ourselves to the possibility that we are far more capable, resilient, and strong than we've been led to believe. Embracing our true potential is not always easy. It can mean letting go of the safety of a past identity or facing the discomfort of leaving behind the familiar. But it is only by confronting these challenges that we can unlock our genuine selves. Much like the young lion standing by the lake, seeing his reflection for the first time, we too must come face to face with our true selves. Only then can we begin to understand and harness the gifts, talents, and passions that make us unique. This journey of self-discovery is about peeling away the layers, moving beyond the borrowed beliefs and inherited limitations, and allowing ourselves to grow into our full potential. It is a journey to a life that is bold, free, and true, one that reflects our own dreams and strengths, rather than someone else's idea of who we should be. So as we reflect on the young lion's story, let it serve as a reminder to listen for our own inner roar. Let it inspire us to look beyond our doubts, to trust the path of self-discovery, and to step into the fullness of our own potential. In each of us lies a unique strength, a purpose that only we can fulfill, and a capacity for greatness that waits to be awakened. This journey, though challenging, is the key to living a life that is truly our own, one filled with meaning, courage, and the fulfillment that comes from embracing who we are meant to be. If this story resonated with you, if it reminded you of your own journey or inspired you to discover the strength within, please consider liking and sharing it. By sharing, you're helping others find stories and insights that encourage self-discovery, courage, and growth. Together, we can create a community where more people feel empowered to uncover their true potential and live with purpose. Don't forget to follow this channel so you can continue to receive more inspiring stories, wisdom, and motivation on your journey toward a more fulfilling life. Let's spread these valuable lessons and make a positive impact one story at a time.